Hello there ladies and gentlemen and welcome to 5-Minute Genres. I'm Simon from Games Deconstructed and I'm here today to tell you about noir in 5 short minutes. Strap in, consider pressing that subscribe button and let's go! What is noir? Originally, film noir was a particular genre of crime dramas from the 30s and 40s of the 20th century. But as time went on, some tropes and audiovisual elements of this genre coalesced into more of an aesthetic. What's the difference between the two? An aesthetic mostly deals with how a work of art looks and feels, but doesn't have to indicate what it's about. So you could have a noir-looking comedy or a noir-looking romance, for example. But you could also have just a noir movie, and that would designate the movie as part of the noir genre, and indicate the topics and themes that we can expect from the movie. Keep that in mind as we're talking about noir elements in the video. Visuals and tropes are going to apply to both uses, while themes and morals will lean towards the genre classification. What are examples of noir? You've got movies like Sin City, The Black Dahlia, and even Blade Runner, which is equal parts noir and cyberpunk. Manga and anime like Darker Than Black and parts and scenes of Ghost in the Shell, Durarara and Baccano, and even Cowboy Bebop. Comics like Blacksad, some runs of Batman, and pretty much everything featuring the question. Games like the Max Payne series, which is noir in a modern setting, Disco Elysium, noir in a fantastic setting, and the aptly named LA Noire, which is noir in a standard early 20th century setting. Why is it called noir? The name hails from Série Noire, a French label that localized early 20th century American movies and later created their own in this style. What does noir look like? We've established that presentation is very important in delivering that noir feel. There are several elements at play here. Dark visual presentation, often utilizing high contrast between black and white, lights and shadows for dramatic effect, a technique called chiaroscuro. Sometimes punctuated by a striking addition of a single, very saturated color to the monochrome. Pretty much what you can see in this example from Sin City. This technique does very well at making sure that everything looks bleak and depressing or oppressive, while also being able to dramatically bring the viewer's attention to a single important element. Movie examples often used creative camera angles as well, aiming to reinforce this general sense of unease. That's not going to be easy to translate to every medium, of course, but the general idea is that playing with audience expectations through visibility is very much in fashion. The use of voiceover narration is often connected to the noir aesthetic. The genre gave birth to the private eye monologue, a first-person internal narration of the main character, ripe with flowery comparisons and the occasional mixed metaphor. Also expect to see an oppressive, poorly lit cityscape peppered by perpetual rain. Who's a noir hero? Short version, private detective in trouble, or a generally decent guy having to interact with the criminal underworld all of a sudden. Longer version, a slightly disenfranchised individual thrust into a dangerous intrigue that's way above their pay grade. Their psychology will be elaborated on, showing most often a cynical, misanthropic individual with bad to middling people skills that's prone to substance abuse as a way of coping with the bleak world that they live in. Definitely broken or flawed in some way, which will be played for drama or used against the character. They also have a tendency to wear hats. More often than not, they will meet in their way a femme fatale, a dame described as being trouble, often coming from the upper echelons of society, who leads people to their doom using her seductive charms. As mentioned before, many noir techniques create a defeatist, pessimist atmosphere. In newer additions to the genre, you could also try to shock the viewer with unexpected action sequences or ultra-violence. What issues do noir stories explore? A common thread in noir stories is the idea of cruel poetic justice. The characters' faults and dirty deeds will lead them to a dramatically appropriate doom in the end. That doesn't mean that the inverse is true. The accidental virtue will often go unrewarded, because once again, these are rather pessimistic works of art, painting reality as treacherous, unfeeling, and generally out to get ya. I hope you are now at least a little bit more knowledgeable about noir works of fiction. Big shout out to Taruto, who suggested in the comments that I do an episode on noir. If there's a genre, subgenre, or what have you that you'd like to see featured, let me know in the comments. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.